So we are back, people, wherever you may be watching the show from. Hope everybody in the house is doing well, is doing good. Got another chilled fuzzy chat stream. We'll talk about absolute malarkey. Absolute malarkey. Whatever it is y'all want me to talk about in chat, you're more than welcome to do so. Pop your subjects or comments in the chat. As long as it's somewhat football related, somewhat football relative. Big ups, long haired Yeti. How we doing, man? Hope everything is good with you. If you would like to jump on for the stream, you're more than welcome to. The invitation is open to all the regulars, if you will. And as the stream title suggests, everything's rosy in the garden again. See, I think that there's a lot of extremities to the ways in which people are feeling about this. About the draw that we had at Anfield. There's a lot of extremities and a lot of very high emotions, if you will. Fuzzmeister, good to see you, Mama Flossie. Hope everything's well with you. Footballs are made of leather. Yeah, that's football related. It is. It is made of leather. Tell you what. How would you reckon? Do you reckon that football would be any different if they were forced to play with the proper old school, like hard leather balls that they used to play with back in the days? Do you reckon football would be different, or do you think it would be more or less the same? The grass is green. Is it though? It might be yellow. Could be blue. Could be pink. It could be purple. Got Freddie Mercury in chat. He's been resurrected from the dead. Resurrected from the dead. I've just dropped you the link in your DMs, Yeti. So when you're all good to go, you're more welcome to hop on. Doing the ironing. Ooh. Tell you what, we're going to have to do some ironing next weekend when we play West Ham. Let's hope for the best. We've got another week, a week of nothingness to go through, which is quite rare for United because we essentially shit the bed in the EFL Cup against Newcastle, and therefore we don't have a game this week. We don't have a game midweek. West Ham do. They play Arsenal. I'm pretty sure they play Arsenal. It's either Arsenal or Liverpool. I can't remember. I'll need to double check with that. EFL Cup. It's Liverpool. They play Liverpool away. That's the next game. And Chelsea play Newcastle on the Tuesday as well. Ooh. That one's going to be interesting. Shall be very, very interesting. But let's see how things go there. Get lost, Yeti. They would all be injured with them old type balls. It's like probably like that lightweight type medicine ball thing. It's like stupid, like 13-year-old me looking at a medicine ball and thinking, yo, what would be really hilarious is if I do a spot kick with this and then literally sending my foot almost 180 degrees backwards in my stride, striking it like it's Wayne Rooney, Thunder, you know what, to that ball, but thankfully nothing major, life-threatening injuries were sustained that day, so I was able to live to tell the tale there. But talking about what's been going on with in the fallout of the draw, and there's a lot of people that will look at the game as neutral and say, "Wow, what a bloody awful game that was." And that's kind of the way it is. That's just kind of the way it is. You see a defensive team set up defensively against an attacking side, and then if that attacking side is on it, it's entertaining because you watch a team score loads of goals and you see the other team get absolutely battered and embarrassed. But when the other team's not on it and they're absolutely wasteful and useless in front of goal, it makes for quite an anticlimactic watch. And from a neutral, you do get kind of bored quite quickly. That's understandable. But from a perspective of being a United supporter, hearing and believing all week in the build-up that it's going to be something like another 7 nils, 8 nils, 9 nils, 10 nils, whatever nils. Hearing that and believing it for a whole week, and then watching that kind of a performance come to pass, and it's like there's something to take away. And do you know what? It gets a draw at Anfield, right? Perhaps that's the idea that Ten Hag gets if we go to the Etihad. Perhaps that's the kind of idea that Ten Hag gets if we go away to another big away ground, to sit back, sit deep, soak up pressure, and then try and work chances on the break. And I would say, well, I can't disagree with that, because what it showed us is that if it was any other type of approach that we take to that game, and we are talking about an absolute battering, because one thing that's very prevalent this season is if we play a bit more open, a bit more attacking, play higher up the pitch, less defensive midfielders on that pitch as well, we get cut through very, very easily. So we talk about Liverpool away, play defensive, soak up pressure, try to hit them on the break and work some chances that way. For me, you could probably do that a whole heck of a lot more times, and actually Manchester United would look relatively more, I'd say, they'll probably look like they're more likely to, squeeze out more points. Whereas it probably also make us more predictable as to what to expect from a Manchester United team. So if you know what you're getting and you can somewhat see what the idea in mind is, don't be very simplistic, and it may be survival football, soak up pressure and then hit them on the break. Whilst you might get that, at the same time, it's actually better to do that than it is to sit high up the pitch and just get counter-attacked on yourself, but one or two passes cuts a team completely to pieces, and it just becomes an easy day at the office for rival teams and whoever the opposition is. Anthony Herbert, big ups to you, man. How are we doing? If you would like to join in as well, Anthony, you're more than welcome to. I'm more than happy to send you a link to the show if you wish to jump on. We are just talking about whatever football related that's occurred this weekend, and pretty much going over some of the highlights and some of the lowlights. We'll talk about some other teams here as well. So if people would like to come on, then do be sure to stick that request in the chat. I can get you guys sorted out and all of that good stuff. But there's one thing that I have to enjoy about this is how many tears I have seen Liverpool players, managers, fans cry, absolutely cry. And you know what? The Liverpool fans that sit there and say, I am more pissed off that we didn't do better. I have to say, they've got their heads screwed on correctly. Everybody else that sits there and says, well, United, they're anti-football. Oh, look at them. They were defending. Oh, they're so shit. They're so poor. They're fucking useless. Oh, I can't believe. United went to Anfield with a plan and executed that plan. The only thing that didn't go our way was not scoring goals. Everything else essentially went according to plan. And you might say, well, if Liverpool are better on the day, they would win that game. Maybe they do, but maybe they don't. See, a crap Liverpool team today, if we went there with the intention of playing attacking, that same crap Liverpool team would have walked all over us. It wouldn't have been close. That's with a crap Liverpool team. That still would have battered us. So if we play defensively, soak up the pressure, try and hit them on the break, and seeing the way in which we set up, it's like we're out to frustrate Jurgen Klopp. We're out to frustrate Liverpool's attack. And Liverpool's attack got frustrated and they threw the game in the bin. What's your
Big
take
up,
on,
mate.
what's your take on that game? Would you say that that's along the right sort of lines? The game plan from Ten Hag to frustrate Liverpool is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I thought he did a good job of it as well. And I thought they had like a few chances, and they just didn't have the quality to finish it off. But I mean, big up to Man United, because all I've heard is it's Liverpool fans that are more annoyed than what United fans are, because I mean, I'll be honest, mate. I thought he was going to get walloped. I said another 7-0. But you bought it to them. Yeah, you gave them a defensive job that they just couldn't get through, and I think that shows that Liverpool just aren't the one at the moment. You know.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But thanks for coming on as well. I
No
did say
worries, man.
this. I did say
Thanks for
this
having
show
me
is
on.
going to be. I'll tell you what. I did say I was going to extend this invite to a lot of people, and if it was a complete walloping, I said before on the preview, listen, if it's another set 6, 7, 8, no, I'll get everybody on. You can find whatever items it is that resembles at the scores. If it was 7, you can have your 7 ups. If it was um, 6s, you can have I don't know what can we say has 6s on it or something. Um,
The devil.
well, that'd be 666 goals conceded at Anfield, but yeah,
And that's like saying to you, it was 6-6-6.
but yeah, it's I have to say that it does resonate with me, and I think with people that say, look at United celebrating a draw, it's like, okay, maybe celebrating, go, oh yeah, and go crazy over a draw, but say over the top. It might be a little bit over the top,
Hmm.
but I can't sit here and say that people are wrong for feeling good about the draw given the current circumstances of the club. Because we
Yeah.
spent our whole season thus far watching United try to play a weird style of football that's getting punished
Mhm.
by pretty much every team, but some of those teams just don't take their chances. We
Mhm.
just went to Anfield, a place where Liverpool have not lost yet in all competitions.
Yeah.
They've not even dropped a point until United came. That's the first non-win result at Anfield this season in
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
competitions,
Absolutely.
and it is midway through December. So that's Ten Hag changing something for the first time this season. and it actually worked to a degree. It could have been better by getting goals, by scoring some goals, and snatching a win. And I mean, imagine what the headlines would be reading if we actually managed to win that game. There'll be people. I mean, even Lee Gunner might be sitting there saying, "Mate, United was shit," but
Mm.
I mean, people talk about Diego Simeone doing this with terrorist football. You see Jose Mourinho winning
Big up
trophies
Wolf.
with terrorist football and things like that. Yeah, well, Frank Division, good to see you, man. Hope everything's good with you. I've extended the invitation to you as well, Wolf, in the group
Any
chats.
team with an ounce of sense, or any fan with an ounce of sense, would be all right going to Anfield and getting a 0-0. I mean, you ask Arsenal fans, would
Abs
you take a 0-0?
Abs from Football Bounce TV on one of the shows that we did said that he would take a draw at Anfield
100%.
before the game. So we know exactly what to expect, right? What the feeling is about, playing away against Liverpool at a place like Anfield, and I like to call that place a hoodoo ground. Like, it's
Mm.
just weird the way in which that they can just seemingly forever win and barely ever lose at that ground. But it's like you see, it's like go there with the game plan, go there with the
Big up
understanding of what you
Firmino.
want to do. Big ups, Jaminio, man. Good to see you, man. Hope everything's good with you. Um, but go there with a game plan. Go there with that sort of feeling in your mind where you've got a job to do. You know what you're doing, and don't submit to that of what Anfield tends to do to teams where people go there and play in fear. Like, seriously, just play your game plan, frustrate the hell out of Liverpool, utilize where their weak spots are, and punish them for it. It's like you
Yeah.
look at them away from home, they haven't got that hoodoo, they haven't got that backing, and their record away from home is substantially worse than it is at home. So, things like that, it's there to be taken advantage of. And you know what? United have just shown the rest of the Premier League another way in which you can potentially go and beat Liverpool and get the better of them this season.
Mm.
Soak up pressure, hit them on the break. You just got to get some players that are good with the decision making on the day, get the execution right, and happy days. You're laughing your way to the bank.
Mm.
And as far as like people like what's his face Van Dyke with his comments, and Roy Keane coming out saying that guy's
Yeah, yeah.
arrogant, man, you haven't won a title in 30 years. And I've got to say,
Mm.
well, he's not wrong. Roy Keane is not wrong. And Van Dyke, mate, cry more.
Mm.
Man, it's like Van Dyke sounds like them hipster fans that go raving mad about De Zerbi football and
Yeah.
think as soon as De Zerbi comes to a decent club, they're going to set the world alight.
Mm.
Are they though? What's your take on Van Dijk's comments? Do you like?
I think it's a stupid comments to come out with when you've just got a 0-0 at your own place and your fans are all angry and all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, you've got to love Roy Keane because he's always going to come out and
Mm,
say it exactly like it is.
mm,
And I just think it's a bit silly to come out and say stuff like that because at the end of the day, when they won the league, didn't they play like a defensive gegen press counter attack style?
mm.
Do you know what I
Well,
mean? So, every team is going to do that, and Anfield is no joke. So, if you're going to go there and set up that way, then I don't really see an issue with that. The fact of the matter is there was one point which I will mention because I always give him shit, but Anthony at one point ran through the middle, and it was
mm,
a brilliant run. It was,
mm,
yeah, he's been here for a long time, and it's the only good thing I've ever seen him do. But he did actually run through the middle, and I thought it was quite good. The pass at the end of it was shit, but you know, he did. He had the first part of it. But I mean, Van
yeah.
Dijk's going to come out and say stupid stuff. To me, it's not a credible thing to say, and I don't think Klopp says things like that.
Yeah, I mean, Klopp said that, it's probably one of the most dominant performances against United that he can remember. And it's like, you might be right in the sense that you have most amount of possession of the ball
Mm.
and most amount of the chances created and stuff, but you from 35, it's like 35 chances or something that they created, and only
Yeah.
8 of them or 9 of them were on target. And you're thinking, but that just says to me that it's like you have all of the possession, but you don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's another example of your attack is just, it's toothless, it's uninspired, it lacks imagination, it perhaps lacks creativity. And Craig from Anfield Agenda says it quite correctly with both Salah and Diaz. It's always the same thing. They get the ball cut inside, shoot.
Mm.
What about the outside? Go around the outside. One of the things that we really struggle with is crosses.
Yeah.
How many crosses did they attempt that game?
Mm.
Not many.
It
I
was
mean, they had
boring, to be fair. It was quite a boring game, to be honest.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that you if I've got to wonder what it is that Liverpool were looking at United and thinking, so this is how we're going to prepare for this game.
Mm.
If players are not up for it, then that's a problem in and of itself.
Yeah, yeah.
But the way in which Liverpool have seen, I've got a case study of every time United play, what's one of the most common ways in which we've conceded goals this season:
Mm.
crosses, inverted balls to the late runners into box in the middle parts of the pitch. Those types of deliveries, and they don't exploit that because
Mm.
we play with a low block, a deep low block, pass it to the back post because we don't really mark back post. There you go. I've just told Jurgen Klopp the way to beat a United low block by
Well,
crossing the
they
ball.
wanted you. They want you to come out, don't they? They want you to come
Mm,
out so you leave the spaces that they normally dominate, and you didn't do it. So fair play to you. You went out with a style that works at Anfield. Fair play, and a lot of other teams will look at that and go, you know what, that's what we need to do as well. Just batten down the
mm,
hatches and make sure you get out of there unscathed.
mm.
I
I'll tell you
like
what.
that, Anthony. I was fucked after that run.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've got West Ham away next
Mm.
weekend, so it's another away game, and it's against a West Ham side that look very much competent this season.
They're on and off. They are. It's like they have one good
Yeah,
one and then one bad game, so you might be all right with that one.
there we go. I've just sent you the link, Anthony. So she'll be coming on for a bit, so it'll be good to have him on the show. Um, but yeah, it's as far as say our game plan is concerned when we go to play against West Ham, and I'll tell you what, I mean, if those players are concerned about training or complaining about training or running too much, sorry guys, you're going to have a whole week of it. You
Mm.
could get a few one or two training sessions less by playing in the EFL Cup midweek, but you
Yeah,
got your sorry selves kicked out of that one by Newcastle's C team.
yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to stick that one in your pipe and smoke that. Um, but West Ham away, whether going there with the same game plan as we had for Liverpool would work in the same sort of way. Do
Mm.
you reckon that's something United can look to exploit against West Ham? Try and sort of give them a game plan or give them a style of play for them that they're not usually used to playing in games in the Premier League. Because
Yeah, well,
they're not usually say a possession based team
mm,
and just
mm.
constantly just pelting at the goal or something, or playing against low blocks with a high
Yeah,
quality
yeah. I
team.
don't think you'd do that against West Ham because they can pretty much play that kind of game as well. So, but the thing
Mm,
is, the difference with West Ham is they've got players that can unlock things at certain times, like
mm,
Paqueta. You know what I mean? So I don't think you would 100% go with the same concept as I think all you had to do yesterday was get out of that unscathed, and that's
mm,
what you did, and you got a point out of it.
mm.
Where West Ham's concerned, I mean, like I say, they're good one game and then they struggle the next. So I think that's probably going to be a win for you, to be honest. You won't sit back. You won't sit back on that one. You'll probably. I think people have to take into account that are these teams are looked at that you play, and there's certain teams that if you go hell bent for leather, they're going to smash the hell out of you. They are, and I know it's not an entertaining thing for football fans to watch. I mean, I've been watching it for the last 2 seasons, but sometimes you've got to do that and just get yourself dug in, and just make sure you don't create the space for these good players. And I think that's exactly what you do. I think where West Ham's concerned, it probably if it comes down to set pieces, because Souček is just a different animal in the air.
Yeah,
That to me is where it comes from.
Well, I mean, you've got Souček as an aerial threat, but just James Ward-Prowse in general. And if one thing, can't be understated, it's like, for example, Bruno Fernandes going and conceding
free kicks outside the area.
James Ward-Prowse is going to absolutely be having a field day. One thing that I would like to see is if we've got the energy on our side to impose ourselves, because West Ham, they've got Liverpool away midweek, or I think it's Liverpool away midweek, and we play them the next weekend, so we've got a week to really sort of get ready for this, plus watching that team play against a team that we've just played. So it's a lot of recency sort of case studies there to really formulate what it is you're going to expect from the opposition come next weekend. And for me, it gives us way, way, way less of an excuse to actually go and get a positive result against West Ham.
Well, a low block against West Ham will be crazy anyway, because if you're putting the tackles in on a low block, then you could give free kicks outside the area. And we all know what Ward-Prowse is capable of. You know what I mean? He is an amazing free kick taker. It's like giving Trent Alexander-Arnold free kicks outside the area. Now, he did do that twice towards the end of the game, but, you got away with it and stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do to get these results, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty much just how it goes. And I think you guys are on like a roll of just going game to game and all that kind of thing. I mean, you've got us at the City Ground at some point. I think that's coming up soon. I think it's just after Christmas, actually. So, I mean, you've just got to do what you've got to do, and you've got to dig in.
Absolutely. I'm going to bring in Anthony here, who has come to join us.
Big up, mate.
Good to see you, man. Welcome onto the channel. I don't believe you've actually been on this channel before, so making your debut on the Hartford's 44 YouTube channel. Anyways, how you doing, man? You all good?
I'm not too bad, Hartford. Yeah, just thanks for letting me come on the show talking about some football, and big up to Yeti as well. How you doing, mate?
I'm all good, man. How's yourself? I mean?
I'm not too bad. All ready for Christmas. Looking forward. I've got 2 days left of work, and then that's it. I'm gone. I broke up for Christmas on Wednesday, and I got a nice long Christmas, all over Christmas, New Year. I got it all off.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I've got off around Christmas time. Is just Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Well, retail, you don't get that time off. You're just
retail's the worst at Christmas. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I used to work at PC World, and the worst day to work was Boxing Day, because people had opened their presents, opened their PCs and stuff, and they don't work, so they're all so angry that you've ruined their Christmas, sort of thing, and they just go mental, man. Mental.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, with the place I work at, it's not quite, say, angry people coming back into your shop. It's just a lot of people with a lot of like returns and refunds and stuff. And it's just like, I knew this was right for him, but it just doesn't fit him at all. And it's just like,
I had this one guy come in once, and he said, "I need this computer fixing." I said, "Is it under warranty?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "If you don't fix it this time, I'm going to come back in and throw it at you." And I went, "Well, then you void your warranty and we can't fix it, mate." So, You know, make it make sense.
Well, I don't like that when they threaten people. I know of quite a lot of people that works in retail. You know, one of them's one of the kiddies comes on our streams on one of our shows. Believe it or not, he's 22 and he's actually been made up as an assistant branch manager. Okay, I know it's Iceland's, yeah, like the shops, but yeah, he's been made up assistant manager. I think that was a couple of months ago. So he's had a promotion. So I mean, fair enough, fair play on him, like sort of thing.
Mm.
You talk about me, bloody hell, I'm in the building trade. There's nothing going on there. There's nothing really going on there at all. It's flat. It's dead this time of year. If you've got loads of work, then yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. But I mean, we're coming up to finishing our job now, so I don't know when the next job
You need to contact Old Trafford because that place is falling to bits.
Well, we contacted them, and I think we've actually, I think we've actually just won that job. To be honest with you, yeah, I wasn't going to let the cat out the bag, but apparently I got 10 years work there. So
there we go, mate. There you go.
From a leaky roof to a dodgy light bulb.
Can you also fix some salmonella issues with our burger vans that we've got parked around Old Trafford? Because apparently there's issues there with
there is issues. There's
people.
There's been reports about raw chicken as well, isn't there?
Tony, mate.
Yeah, in Old Trafford, raw chicken as well.
Yeah.
Even the prawn sandwiches are going back to sea.
Going back down the river over to Liverpool and back into the Irish Sea.
Yeah.
Oh God! If when it rains, it pours with Man United, and hopefully it's a sign of end times for that kind of perhaps hilarity. But quick one, Anthony. Give us your thoughts or your verdict on that Liverpool United game, and whether you think that it is more so a case of United went there with a job to do, with an idea in mind, and executed what they wanted to do, or was it just Liverpool were just simply that bad on the day that if they were just on their game, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. It would have just been Liverpool running away with the victory. Like,
do you know what? I believe it or not, I did actually watch the game. I got to be honest with you, it was a boring 90 minutes that I sat through and watched. I got to get that out there. But do you know what? I think the out of the two, obviously, you've got to favour Liverpool and Man United. We talked about this on my show yesterday, and I think, to be honest with you, Manchester United turned up and they did a job. Their job wasn't their job. Their job. In all fairness, it wasn't to win. I know you play to win and you play what's in front of you, but their job wasn't to win. Their job was to hold out and see how much they can take what Liverpool was going to throw to them. And in all fairness, Man United done that. I mean, the stats doesn't lie. I mean, Liverpool had 34 shots on goal, and I think Man United had about 7 or 8. So, yeah, and then obviously with the possession, I think Liverpool had 69% possession, and Man United had 31. So, it is what it is. I feel Liverpool. I don't think they were on their A game as in such. But listen, Man United did a job well done, and they broke them down and they tried to start dominating certain areas. And Man United stopped that. They closed it, especially the defence. Your defence was closed. It was tight. I mean, but I got to be honest with you. I think your man of the match to me, well, your best player on the pitch was your goalkeeper. I thought he was the best player on the pitch. Without him, I mean, I think you would have lost that game without a doubt.
Oh, I thought my man of the match was Rafael Varane. And his presence at the back, because if it was Maguire and Evans, you imagine just how easy that ball goes through the channels, into the channels. Darwin Núñez makes those runs in behind. Varane showed pace, he showed tenacity, showed composure, and he played an individual performance like he is a Rolls Royce centre back, and he just cleared up so much of what was going on that sort of stopped Liverpool from getting better chances. And as a centre back, I mean, if you concede lots and lots of chances, usually that just comes from a basis of, either you're not holding on to the ball long enough, giving
Yeah.
up cheap possession. And we were doing that very much so, because our pass completion percentage was ridiculously low. One of the lowest we probably ever had it in a game of football. Shout out to Scott McTominay for that. But it also shows that your midfield can sometimes get sort of got at a little bit. And I think if we are camped close to our box, you're always going to concede more chances, because there's a lot more players trying to shoot from range. So there's a lot more players trying to sort of bypass a big block of players in front of you. So I always thought that we were going to concede a lot of chances, but in the way in which that we sort of sat deep to soak up the pressure and frustrate Liverpool by having them shoot from miles and miles away.
Yeah.
It's like you watch that happen and you're like, well, actually, as a United fan, I'm actually quite relaxed with this. I'm actually quite relaxed. And there's most of that game, despite the stats saying, oh, Liverpool absolutely wiped the floor with United, I was actually quite relaxed with that. I mean, the opening, say, 10 minutes were quite hectic, and one or two other points in the game where, passage of play where it's like it's all just Liverpool, going straight back at us every time. The rest of it was just, it wasn't very Liverpool-like. It didn't feel like we were against Liverpool at Anfield. You could say it just didn't live up to perhaps the standards of what a game like that usually entails. But credit to where Manchester United did the job they needed to do well, and guys like Varane coming into the team, starting in that back line. And I mean, he made Johnny Evans look solid as well.
Yeah.
Johnny Evans was relatively solid. I thought Luke Shaw kept Salah quiet. Diogo Dalot, I mean, as much as the guy gets sent off for absolute BS, his performance was actually pretty decent up until that point, and he's not usually a defensive fullback. He's actually quite an attacking one. You would have expected something like that from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Just keep Luis Diaz quiet. Don't let him have the run of the green. And you know what? Fair
I thought
play.
he was a bit harsh on Dillo, to be honest with you, but he did do descent and then he did it again. But I mean, I did think that was a little bit harsh. But I mean, your sphincter must have been so tight when Trent Alexander-Arnold hit that last shot. Man, and Nana was nowhere near it, was he?
No, that shot, and you know what? I hear people say that was just pure luck that doesn't go in, because that's one of those goals that it's just a frustration hit, but the execution of it, the talent comes through, and it usually goes on target. But luckily it didn't. But that sometimes you have to make your own luck. Sometimes you have to ride the luck that you get given.
Yeah,
and it's those few moments that you have to rely on good luck in games. It's sometimes what just contributes to seeing out what you need to go and do. So it's like us against Leicester City, where David De Gea had to pull out ridiculous saves just completely out of left field. But we ended up winning that game 3-0. It's like, well, if David De Gea, in various aspects, between quality and luck in actually reacting to save those, because it is reflexes. Sometimes your reflexes are luck based. It's just the letter of the law. But on a different day, he concedes a couple goals. We don't win that game 3-0. That's a completely different scoreline. So sometimes, though few and far between, sometimes those results do have moments of luck where you need to have the luck on your side to sort of get over the line. But you know what? It's hats off to the that defense and also Onana for doing a solid job. We'll sort of move it on to a couple of other games that happened across the weekend. We'll start with Arsenal, right? So because of this result, because Liverpool didn't walk all over Manchester United, Arsenal currently now stay sat top of the table. You guys played against Brighton, and I would like to say that there's similarities in the approaches from Brighton to
Stephanie.
Arsenal. Big up Stephanie. Similar approaches from Brighton to Arsenal as like Manchester United did with Liverpool. For me, Brighton didn't quite get it right. What was your perception on that game? Was it a little bit? Did you see similarities in those two games between Arsenal, Brighton, United, Liverpool? One side very much clearly, the side on top, perhaps not quite got the same killer instinct or the clinicality to just bury all of the chances you get, or most of which.
Yeah. Well, the first off is I actually predicted the scoreline right in this game. Obviously Arsenal winning 2-0. That was my prediction. But when you actually I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights on Match of the Day, and I watched a few other clips on YouTube. And there was some. I mean, to be honest with you, we could have won that game more than 2-0. I mean, I'm not being funny. We were like the Liverpool, and Brighton was like the Man United. But in all fairness, we've seen that before, where we've played against Brighton before, and we've dominated the game, and they've come out of nowhere, and they've actually scored a winning goal against us. And you can ask any Arsenal fan. Brighton is our bogey team, and is true. But I mean, yeah, there was similarities in and out. I mean, obviously, Jesus came up and scored that first goal. I mean, obviously, we were there hanging around waiting for a while, and then obviously Havertz got the second goal. So I just feel like obviously winning that, scoring 2 goals, winning that, keeping a clean sheet and get the 3 points is a good thing, because obviously next weekend. And may I mind you, Yeti mentioned about he said about your stinker against Liverpool. We got which you did, Jesse, right? Arsenal's got Liverpool this weekend, and I think to be honest with you, I think go and watch it. If you compare, obviously, if Arsenal watched the Liverpool and Manchester United game, if we can defend like United did, we won't have a problem. We should, even if we just scrape a 1-0, which, you know what I'm saying? If we can scrape a 1-0 win or 2-0, I'll be happy. But I mean, most fans are happy with a draw against that. Obviously against Liverpool, but it's just the way it is. I mean, every game changes. It's who's better on the day, really. But yeah, going back to that Brighton game, I think it was well deserved. It was a good game. I would have liked more. Be honest with you, because you always do against your bogey team, but the main points was the clean sheet, the win, and getting the 3 points and remaining top of that the Premier League. That was the main thing.
Lovely stuff. Just going to quickly introduce here Early Doors Football
I
TV. How we doing, man?
Come on.
Well, as soon as I heard you saying about your predictions, Anthony, I had to come on, didn't I? As simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I knew you did. Yeah.
How are we, gents? We all well?
Yes,
good.
All good, man. All good.
Well, welcome back to the channel. How have you been, Early Doors? It's been a while. It's been quite a long while since we've been on the stream together.
It has been, mate. It's been a long time, and it's good to start to slowly come back into things. And with Yeti, yourself, Anthony, I've been on Anthony a couple of times now. Well, not on Anthony, but on shows of Anthony.
I was going to say, but yeah,
Well, it's Christmas, Anthony, you know what I mean? It's all about giving.
Getting back to the sphincter.
Yes, see, that was a secret.
But I'll tell you what. Now that
Probably why it's called Early Doors.
Well, it was early, yeah.
Smash the back doors weren't appropriate at the time, so I had to use something
else. Oh, my God.
4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Super.
Oh, God.
It's actually it comes with good timing with having Early Doors on as West Ham supporter there. We're talking about Man United, Liverpool. We play you next in the league, but you also play Liverpool midweek at Anfield. based off of what you're seeing from United going to Anfield and getting the result that they've had in the league, what's your viewpoint on your EFL Cup trip to Anfield midweek? Are you sort of going there with a bit more optimism, seeing United, they can dig in deep with that kind of leaky defence and a suspect goalkeeper, that we can go there, soak up that pressure and actually get a couple goals to beat them?
I think we've got a good chance of doing it. Yeah, definitely. I think, as we said to Anthony the other day, where we're going to lose kudos soon with the AFCON. Let's try and use that player while we've got the chance to. We've got 2 yesterday on Saturday. So, yeah, we've got a good opportunity to get a result out of Liverpool, especially as they were against, these guys.
100%. And I think I'm hoping that it's a West Ham victory. I mean, it stands currently an unlikely feat, given just Liverpool's record at Anfield is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it is taken until United to be the first team to actually have dealt Liverpool a result that isn't a win at Anfield in all competitions this season. So it's like, if Liverpool are feeling quite down about it, now's the time to kick them whilst they're down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, based off of how you approach this game, if Salah decides, you know what, I'm going to turn up this game, or Diaz decides, I'm going to turn up this game, or Nunes decides, I'm going to stay on side, I'm going to hit the target whenever I kick the ball, it could prove to be a different kind of game. But who are you looking to in your squad? I know you've just said Kudus, quite an instrumental player in an attacking sense in your team, but is there anybody else in West Ham that perhaps you could say, look out for these guys, they could pose Liverpool quite a big problem?
You can't dismiss Souček. I mean, obviously, he's kind of saved us in a few games recently with a late winner at the end with a header, etc. So he can do that. Obviously, we can't discount Bowen. He's obviously due a goal. So, yeah, we've got opportunities in that respect. But then, of course, it all depends. I think the ultimate thing comes down to Moyes. Is he going to risk playing a full-strength squad against Liverpool, considering what we've got coming up on the weekend? So it's that as well, isn't it? It's a 50-50 gamble what he goes with. Does he want to progress in that cup, or is he going to concentrate more on the Europa and the league?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it is a wise thing to actually kind of do, because I mean, with West Ham, it's kind of like, it's one of those clubs, you know that the league is just written off every time, because your squad's just not at the level to go and realistically compete. Now, if you end up competing like an Aston Villa does, we can look at that and say, well, that's just kind of a freakish start for you. Like it's just you ride that wave for as long as it can take you, but make the best of the chances you do have, because if you're in it to win it, why not just try and go all the way to the end? So I think Aston Villa might have that in their minds and might think, you know what, let's see how far we can go with this. For West Ham, I think you're definitely that sort of team that, like a Villarreal or a Sevilla does, they're not most likely going to win La Liga, but you've got other competitions here that pose a very big opportunity to actually go and add some more silverware to your club. And I think if David Moyes, focuses on all of these side competitions and actually builds that sort of, that culture at your club where it's like, well, this is West Ham, we do win trophies. So players do come to the club with the belief that they are here to win trophies, as opposed to, we're just West Ham, we're a little club in London, we just play, to finish mid-table or try and get into European competitions and then not really do anything in them. This is like, I think David Moyes, if you can get yourself some more silverware this season, I think that's going to start building that culture that changes the perception in the footballing world of West Ham United. Would you agree?
I do. Yeah, because first of all, I wonder which one you was talking about who's winning trophies. Because obviously, if it's Tony and that, his club's not winning much at the moment anyway. But on my side of things, we're always winning, so not bad at all, really.
Better season than Arteta last season.
Oh God! Do you know what? I'll take it. I'll definitely take it from Rafael Benitez. Definitely.
But no, I think as you said, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, if you can do well in the Europa again, and we get to win that, then it's Champions League. So in that respect, you can't fault us for progress in that respects. But obviously, league wise, I mean, we know where we stand. That's one thing we're quite gracious about. I think he's in the same boat with Forest. That we're quite gracious
Our
that
boat's sinking, mate.
I'm trying to big you up, I'm trying to praise you at this stage in your club.
We're gonna go. We'll go on to Nottingham Forest actually. Now,
No one might
it's
do.
the season Premier League wise. It started with quite a bit of interest, and I was thinking, Nottingham Forest. They've added a little bit of spice into that team based off from last season going to this season, and surely it's one of those that you just kick on from it and you improve on what you've done from last season. Find a bit more character with your team and sort of figure out what sort of direction it is you're going to start heading on, because for a club of Nottingham Forest size in today's game, you kind of have to be a bit of a journeyman's club and just sort of go through that twists and turns and sort of take however long it takes to go up the levels in the league and go from progressing from a club that sort of sits in the back of everyone's minds to a club that sort of occupies the frontal lobe.
Just stay at the bottom of the league, it's fine.
Well, the relegation favourites, but it has sort of gone back towards that, being a relegation candidate now. Like something's
100%.
flipped. And what do you put that down to? Do you think it's players, or do you think there is, in essence, that Steve Cooper's taken this bunch as far as he can?
Yeah, well, it's a weird one. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we've got more quality in there now. He's got the players he wanted. We've definitely got depth. Like this Tottenham game, I mean, the passion was there, but the quality wasn't, and it was exactly the same in the game before. And I think that's the biggest issue at the minute. I mean, is that down to we're just sort of clutching at chances, and you could tell that they was playing for Cooper on Friday. I mean, they kicked the shit out of Spurs, and I told Spurs fans that that's what they'd do, and they was all crying about it, whatever. Anyway, but and we tried to do that, and basically the quality just was not there. I thought we had some decent chances, but the quality weren't there, and Spurs had the quality, and Spurs came through a major hurdle there, a team that's trying to kick the crap out of them, and they actually still continue to carry on. I mean, it was unfortunate on Brennan Johnson, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, I've just been reading on Instagram that apparently we're talking to Nuno Santos at the moment. I don't know how real that is. It's just a general thing. Where Nuno Santos is concerned, where Cooper's concerned for me is like nobody's bigger than the club. And thanks for everything you've done and all that kind of thing. But the way I look at it is this: is it tactics? Is it players? Because if it's Cooper's tactics, then fair enough, you get rid of Cooper. But if it's players, you get rid of Cooper and you just get the same issue. You've got it now at Man United. It's no point just getting rid of a manager and still having the same wanky players. If they're not going to get in the program and do exactly what it takes. And to be honest, they did on Friday. They was all got stuck in. There was no doubt about that. The passion was definitely there. But that quality has got to come in somewhere. And without a 1 year, we're in trouble. We signed Chris Wood, so we might as well just planted a tree in the centre of the fucking penalty box, to be honest with you, because he don't do a great deal. So, I mean, there's been some mistakes, but at the end of the day, they're all Coopers. And if Nuno Santos come in, I won't be worried about that, to be honest. I think he's another one like Potter, who basically took on a bigger job than what he is, when he went to Spurs. And I think it was exactly not Spurs, I mean Chelsea. And it's exactly the same with Santos when he was at Wolves and he went to Spurs. I think there were two bigger jobs for him. So, I won't be against that. I want to keep Cooper, obviously. You always want to keep the guy that actually got you back into the league after 23 years. But, I mean, what's going on there? I have no idea. They're always talking about togetherness and all this kind of stuff. But fact of the matter is we're losing games. And as much as people keep saying that, there's no way we'll go down, no way we'll go down. If Luton get another win, they're 2 points behind us. So, you've got to stand up and think. And I think, I'll be honest with you, I think as soon as he drops in that bottom three, that'll be it, it'll be gone.
Well, and that's the thing. Current record at the moment, say your last five, you've lost 4 games and drawn once, and the draw came against Wolves away from home. For you, with the way things are going, what do you think that you need to change in order to actually start getting things back on the right track?
Well, I would say, honestly, I'd say go from a low block to a mid block. So we're actually stopping them before they actually get anywhere near the box. I don't like the low block for that reason, because you're making challenges at the wrong time, and it gives people a chance outside the box and things like that. We've got to possession, passing. We can't pass, for God's sake. I said to Deji the other day, it's like, we'll do a low block and try a counter attack, but we can't pass 5 yards. How are we going to pass 50? It just, it's just not going to happen. I think we've got to become more of a possession team, where we actually work on keeping the ball more instead of trying to release it all the time, and actually build down the centre, and actually then use the wings and have somebody in the box that can actually finish it. But I mean, there's no excuses, really. There's no excuse. We've got some quality. We've got some talent. We've got some players that a lot of the big clubs would have been looking at some point. Sangari, Danilo, Mangala, absolutely amazing 6. I mean, he could easily fit into Liverpool and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Maybe even Arsenal. Awonyi, quality striker, but he's always injured. So it's frustrating as a Forest fan to see it, because I wanted us to become more attacking, and I think we do try and do that, but I think he's trying to do it too soon, personally, and it's just not working.
So would you say that January for you is going to be a big sort of a big month in this?
January is going to be. I think January is massive for everybody. I think the only time you can really say who is going to be up there or thereabouts is in January. If Arsenal do what they need to do, and in my opinion, getting Ivan Toney, because people keep saying that Ivan Toney always been out for so long, he might not be. Man, that guy is a natural goal scorer, and he's not just goal scorer. If you look at the way Brentford are now, Ivan Toney actually holds so many defenders out of the way and creates space for other players to score. And that's why Brentford have been so successful. So Ivan Toney is a massive player. And if Arsenal can get him and get what they need, same as City, if City go and get a comeback for Paqueta and go for Elise, and their season could go up, because De Bruyne is going to be coming back. I mean, Man United are fucked. I mean, I don't know what you're going to sign, but
New club.
I mean, you just got to look at it like that, and Tottenham as well. They're going to strengthen.
Absolutely. We'll move on to Anthony here. So, Champions League. Now, group stage is all wrapped up. Let's just forget about United and Newcastle. Yeah, not relevant. But your draws, you've picked Porto out of the hat, I believe.
Yeah.
For an Arsenal fan such as yourself, if you're someone, just quickly, where do you think is a realistic achievement, or what do you want Arsenal to do as like a minimum in this Champions League season from this position? Where would you say is an acceptable place for you to get to?
You said from this position, but from the start, I was happy with getting anywhere to the quarterfinals. I mean, I'm just looking realistic. Obviously the realistic side of things, looking at the signings that we've had this season, and how Arsenal has also played this season as well. But I mean, with Porto, obviously we got Porto. I did a Champions League stream earlier today, and it was obviously we touched on this game. I think Arsenal's going to win this one, and I seriously think I know it's over two legs. Um, I mean, Arsenal's away. I think I predicted a 3-2 win in the first leg and a 1-0 at home in the second leg. So obviously on the advantage there over. I think Arsenal win on aggregate. I think it'd be 4-2 on aggregate, and obviously they go through into the quarterfinals. So I mean, that was my score predictions in that. I just hope to a certain extent we can actually stay injury free for when this when this game comes up. Also, as well, it's like what I mean. Yeti has touched on it as well. The January transfer window is big for our teams. I'll be honest with you, it's definitely big for Arsenal. More at the top three, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. This window is more bigger for Arsenal because I feel that. Listen, this time last season, Arsenal was 10 points clear of Man City in the Premier League, and look what happened there. And I mean, we bought one or two players in January, and it didn't bring up the expectation. We had a dodgy result against Southampton. We drew 3-0. We had another last season. Obviously, we had a dodgy result 2-2 with another. I can't bother to see their name, and he knows that way. Sorry. And then, but that was it. Look, so it all depends on the transfer window for me, Hot Fuzz. All depends on the transfer window and who we get in, and that's for any of our teams. Any of our teams.
Puts you in a good position for Tony as well, because if Tony comes to you, he's in the Champions League.
Yeah, it does put us in a good position. But I got to be honest with you, yeah, I can't see Ivan Tony going anywhere this season. Seriously, I can't. No, I think he'll come back and he'll play the rest of this season for Brentford, and then Brentford will sell him next season. I think he will be gone next season. I think Ivan Toney. I think next season he'll be a Tottenham player because I think of the they're getting for the money that they had from Harry Kane from Bayern Munich. Yeah. That's what I reckon. That Oshima or whatever his name is, that Napoli striker. He actually signed a contract with Napoli today, and is if anybody wants him, he's got a buy clause on there, like a release clause, and is anything up to 150 million for a release clause. So there you go. And I think even Fabrizio Romano come out and did a video on that as well. So
yeah.
So that's Osherman being a Chelsea player then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take this over to early doors as well. With West Ham being in Europa League, I don't know if you've had your draws. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have done. Who have you got for stages of your knockouts?
You've got me thinking now. I can't remember myself. I've been too busy with work, unfortunately, at the moment. That's why I have no idea what's going on in the football world.
He's a fake. Yeah. He's a fake. He's not really a West Ham fan.
Lads, we got a fake here. We got a fake.
fake.
You got a fraud.
He's a flip flop.
Yeah, I'm one of them false fans. I'm false.
Yeah.
Pretty sure because you finished top. You finished top of your group, didn't you?
Yeah, we finished top of the group. Yeah.
So you don't. So you skip around. So you don't have the.
We go.
They skip around. Yeah. So they go into the round of 16, don't they, instead of 32? Yeah. We did last season at Arsenal. We skipped a round of 32 and went straight into the round of 16. I think did you Pop? But I think you went into the round of 32, didn't you? Because you dipped
Yeah.
down from the Champions League, didn't you?
No,
Yeah.
what we did was we finished second in our group, and then we had Barcelona, who they dropped down from Champions League, and we then beat them by a goal on aggregate. So did things the hard way, as what was quite obvious last season, and beat all
Yeah.
the good Spanish teams, and you come up against the most out of form one in Sevilla, then they absolutely play us off the park. Very, very typical. But yeah, early doors with West Ham. Are you backing your team to go on to win the competition?
Yeah, I will do actually. I think we've
Yeah.
got a very good chance of doing that. I mean, like we've proved we've got the resilience of that with the Europa Conference, and I think we've got every right to in this one as well. Like I said, Moyes has definitely kind of found his form when it comes to Europa football. He's definitely got the team playing in that respect. Just going on to player wise, though, I think like you guys, West Ham desperately need a striker. We can't rely on Antonio. He's been a good stalwart for the club, but you can't rely on him to do it. And Bowen, even the likes of Ben Rama, I mean, Paul Now's has been recalled back into the squad because obviously the AFCON come out. So yeah, we definitely need to buy him in the January window. If we do, there is another thing. But yeah, I think we do well in Europa. I think we progress quite highly up there. I think we'll be up there.
You can have Chris Wood if you want.
Chris.
Yes. No, they are. They're interested in Chris. I read it today. Apparently, they're calling him CW7 already, the fans.
Forget Sue's a thing of the past. You go, Wood! Wood!
We'll just paint him white until stand by the goalpost and that, he'd be a poacher from that point.
I mean, we call him WT7, Wank Twat 7.
Oh, well. I knew I was close.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, there's a talk of obviously in Ketia for us. Even I think he's looking at Solanke as well.
Oh my days!
Solanke's the fifth. I read it today. He's apparently Arsenal are after him. 50 million.
I like Solanke. I don't think he's for you for what you need though.
No, I don't think he is. If there's anybody that I would like, I'll be honest with you, he's Ollie Watkins. I like Ollie Watkins at Arsenal. That'd be a good boy. I mean, we want someone to get up there. Maybe someone to get us 20 goals. Sort of thing. That's what Arsenal really wants.
I don't think you're going to get him off Villa though. At the minute, Villa are flying high, so I can't see you getting him. To be honest.
Yeah, I can't see him either.
You look at that Villa with their players, Martinez. I mean, let's go for the middle. Let's go for Mings as well, the defender. And you got Louis, who else? McGann, and obviously Ollie Watkins. You've got 5 main players there from Villa, and what Unai Emery would want to do is build a team around these 5 players. If Villa wants to go anywhere, so this is what I think this is what the board has got to look at as well. But there is reports that Emery he's after Smith Rowe from Arsenal. So I think his playing days at Arsenal is gone. So I think he will go. I think Unai Emery will turn him into a better player. To be honest with you, he did it with Watkins. And let's not forget when Unai Emery. Sorry, Oxford, I'll just say this and I'll stop then. When Unai Emery took over Aston Villa, they were 17th in the league. Now look at the achievement he's done.
He's amazing, isn't he? He's a damn good manager.
Yeah, it's a thing that don't say West Ham. Aston Villa on this badge here. Look, because it's the right colours but the wrong team. So
he probably knows more about Aston Villa than he does West Ham. To be fair.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's the funny thing about the all 3 claret and blue teams in the league: Burnley, Aston Villa, and West Ham. I said it about their kits at the start of the season, is that literally all 3 clubs have got a home kit that's pretty much resemblant to what each other's clubs usually have as a home kit design. So it's like it worked literally all three ways. So it was it's actually quite a funny thing to look at there. But yeah, in terms of transfers, now it's a bit of a transfer talk. There, it does feature on the thumbnail that United
I'll be back
perhaps
in a sec, Lee.
there is. The United might be set for a January clear out, and some of the names that have been mentioned with their January clear outs kind of don't really make sense as far as, say, having this squad trying to be as competitive as possible, or as higher quality as possible. We've got the likes of, I believe, Casemiro's apparently been put up for sale, Varane, another name. They're talking about Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial also being added on there. For me, Jadon Sancho is just a foregone conclusion. He's got to go. He doesn't want to play for this manager. He's literally sat there waiting for this manager to be sacked in order for him to actually come back into starting games for United. So for me, dead weight, get rid. Anthony Martial, he's been here since LVG. He's been hot and cold seasons in goal scoring form. Latter years, not been reliable for fitness. And I think it's just shown more and more with the inconsistencies. He can't build a solid role in the team. And for me, I think it's about time that it's probably past time to say goodbye to him and get him out of the team. And yeah, supposedly, John Murta, God only knows why he's still here, flies to Saudi Arabia for talks, as the club have apparently booked Casemiro, Varane, Jadon Sancho, and Anthony Martial up for sale, not for sporting reasons, in order to raise funds. That's the conversation. Mighty Manchester United, one of the highest revenue clubs on the planet, talking about going to January, selling more players than buying to raise funds. What is your take on? We'll go around with all three of you. What's your take on United talking about selling players, better players in the squad, for monetary reasons? We'll start with early doors.
This is where I think you've got to seriously question the mentality of your board, your manager. What are they actually plainly thinking? Because when you're selling players like that, I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, Martial, that's a foregone conclusion. I mean, the man's just taking a weekly wage for basically doing bugger all. Sancho and that, you might have put him in his pram and wheel him down the street because obviously he's just crying every time with Ten Hag and that. And as for the others, Varane is not a bad player. But to say that you're doing it just to raise funds, so what, you're suddenly saying that the tap's turned off and there's no money available.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of Champions League, so that money's gone.
Yeah, but I suppose at the same point, if we were talking about the other day, me and Anthony, and you're still waiting for this Jim Radcliffe stake to come in, kind of thing, and that. So are the Glazers kind of thinking, well, until we get that, we can't really do anything, so we'll play caution to the wind and let's sell some players to get some cash in. It's as you said, for a club that commercially makes profit after profit year in, year out, to suddenly turn around and say that, it can't be a good time to be a United fan.
Well, in conversations about needing this whole night selling players to raising funds, I mean, there is truth in the sense that we are in big financial trouble because with the reports that we've generated, the highest, record highs for income, like for the money that we've actually generated, but then we put it up against the club's total losses, also at record highs, actually exceeds that of the income. So we are sat in a net loss despite having record income. So it's like, what have the Glazers and this board been doing the past however many years to be able to draw that much money, but to lose that much more? And we're talking millions tens of millions
One thing you
in the
can
negative.
guarantee is the owners aren't in any bad shape. You know what I mean? Because otherwise they would have sold up when they got the chance. So the problem is with Man United is they're just leeching off all of it, and the way like you say that you're selling players for profit and all this that and the other, you are seriously becoming the EastEnders of football. It's just every time it's like just watching EastEnders, and then it's like, oh, Man United are going to do this, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? It's just mental, man. What is going off at your club? But the thing is like where yes, you're in debt and all that kind of thing, but why are the owners not selling? They're obviously doing all right. Otherwise, they would. One thing they would do for sure, if they was losing money, they would be out of that door. They'd be gone.
Mm.
So they're obviously doing fine. They're obviously getting all the money they want and all this, that, and the other. They're probably going to sell all your profitable players and then leave anyway. And I think you should get rid of a lot, to be honest. I don't think any of them deserve to be there.
Well, that's the thing.
That's serious. I think they're terrible.
Well, I've seen a video that recently, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, they were over in Tampa Bay, sort of giving high fives to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's just like you couldn't pay these people enough money to actually show up there at Old Trafford and be there consistently, and try and give a damn at least, and just have a little bit of concern for a football club that is sort of fallen away from its being the pinnacle of English football. And when people think about football in this country, they thought instantly Manchester United. They don't think that anymore. They think about other clubs. They think about Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. They'll think about Newcastle before us now. And that's just kind of the way in which they've overseen the demise of United and how little they care about where this club is and where it's going.
100%.
And how we are left to basically swallow our pride and have to say, well, great, we're going to be stuck with Sir Jim's 25% and hope that his idea of putting Manchester back into Manchester United is not becoming Brexit club, but becoming a sporting entity that that seeks to excel in standards and in ambition and become the pinnacle of the exemplary point of English football, and be a place for footballers that aspire to be champions and win things and go on to to win the highest honours. They pick Manchester United instead of a Man City. They pick United instead of an Arsenal. They pick United instead of a Liverpool. And being in that position is where United should be. Glazers, we don't care. We have to hope Sir Jim Ratcliffe does. Anthony, what's your take with the monetary situation, if you will, with United needing to sell players to raise money?
You message. Well, you just said about players there. Some of the players I can understand. Some of the players I don't understand because they're your best. They're your best players. Regarding Sancho, I did read on one. Is this where if he's leaving in January? I did hear through the grapevine. It told me he can go for free. That's what I've been told. But I'll tell you something: if he does go for free, or if he's going to go for cheap, I'll take him at Arsenal and rotate him with Saka. I haven't got a problem with that. Obviously, first you could tune into my show and I'll let you know how he's doing on a weekly basis. That's what I say. But in all fairness, I got to be honest with you. I can't see this happening. I think your owners are very stubborn. I think they're here to stay. In all fairness, I've seen it on so many streams. Obviously, like Man United, I haven't seen it on yours, Oxford. So your stream I'll put aside. You're in the clear. But other Man United streams, and I've got to be honest with you, it has been getting a little bit boring because, and they're saying, oh, so and so wants to come in. Oh, this other guy wants to come in. He wants to buy in to get take over this, that, and the other. New guys are coming in. New guys are buying. These glaziers are tight. They were holding out for £6 billion last season. They wanted £6 billion. They didn't want a penny less. Now I'm telling you now, if they want that £6 billion, they would all up for it, and they'd be at your club long enough as it takes for them to get what they want, which is the £6 billion, and that's a fact. You ought to be thankful that you're not winning any trophies or anything like that at the minute. Because I'll be honest with you, if you were playing well, winning trophies, the Glaziers would want more money, and you'd be more into debt. And these buyers, they won't come in and buy Man United. So there's that plus side of looking at things, Opfuzz, is that you're not winning anything. So as you're not winning anything, they can't add on any more money from that. It is a shame. Well, I say it's a shame with Man United for what they've gone. Listen, I know Man United fans, and I've told them all the same what I'm telling you now. It's not going to happen. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I know if it was Arsenal, they'd be giving us some stick. Do you know what I mean? But in all fairness, I just feel that they at times like this, sometimes you have got to feel sorry for the club, because I'm the bigger person. But I'm just going to say the Glaziers are here to stay, unfortunately, until they get what they want. Yes, definitely.
It comes down to when you had Woodward in charge. I mean, he was a businessman. He wasn't a football man.
Yeah.
So his kind of ethics were based around that rather than what goes on the pitch and the surrounding things. Because as you know full well, Old Trafford and Carrington need major investment. And I agree with Anthony there. I mean, any player who wants to come in, are they going to look at Man United for its prestige and this the other name?
That's it, isn't it? Yeah.
You've got the manager you've currently got, because at the moment, unless you're Dutch, you've got no chance of getting into that club by the sounds of it. And there's where your problem lies. But yeah, with the Glaziers, they held out for this £6 billion. You had two fellas willing to pay $5.5 billion, six at a push.
Yeah.
For the club, and they only bought you for what's it, 880 or £880 at the time. And the first back onto the club because they know the club would pay for itself. But when you mismanage things, as you found out over the years, like Leeds have, like Everton have, there comes a point when you get punished. And I think the likes of Anthony, myself, and Yeti, to be in the position where you are, it's not good days for being a Man United fan, like I said. And I mean, we stick with Terence Brown. Now we've got the likes of when we had Golden Sullivan. Yeah, it's one of those.
It's absolutely tragic, to be honest. I mean, I think the only way out of it really is if a lot of your ex-players that still love the club and aren't sold out to the Glazers, because some of them have, and Alex Ferguson sold out to the Glazers as well. I will give that point. I don't think Brian Clough would have ever done that. So that puts him down in my estimation. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if a consortium of your ex-players, Roy Keane and all that kind of bought the club, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a lot of money. You're just in a situation now which is really, really hard to get out of. And you've got an owner that just is leeching off the club left, right and centre. And like I said the other day, any manager that comes in, they're going to be backing the players because it's going to cost them a lot more to get rid of the players than it is to get rid of the manager. It's a really horrible situation. And I have no issue with Man United. I love watching them back in the day. They was amazing. And I think you're really unlucky to be in this era, to be honest with you, because they used to be phenomenal.
I'll be honest with you, I think regarding Man United, I look at your manager and I think, in all fairness, is your manager on borrowed time at the minute? But then again, you've got to look at it this way as well. If Man United wants to succeed in things, are they going to stick with him? Because the problem at your club is the players, the owners, everything at your club. Now, I'm not being funny. Let's just go round and look at your players now. If you was to sign Pep Guardiola tomorrow, even he could not change Man United by the end of this season. No. Even he couldn't. and it'd take him time to do that as well. So, in all fairness, I just feel like you've got to feel sorry for Man United at this time, and and that's a fact. But it's not just a problem. You've got the problems with the players, you've got the problems with the managers, you've got the problems with the owners, and not that. I'm not being funny. You've even got problems now with your stadium, which is that's 4 major problems. Even your training, your pitch, your training pitch as well. I mean, it's all come up with a sudden, and it all bulks up. And they need to look at it and eliminate it like a jigsaw. Just instead of building up a jigsaw, eliminate the pieces, and you eventually get there. But that's the best thing for Man United at the minute. I can only recommend sort of thing.
Your only luck is the fact that you're staying in the Premier League all the time. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of a catch-22 because if you actually drop down to the Championship, these might piss off anyway. You know what I mean?
No, they probably would. They probably would because the revenue streams would just completely fall off the face of the planet.
Exactly.
Everything would be too expensive for the club to be sustainable, and it would just start getting punished almost weekly by the competition organisers. And it would probably get busted. The club would probably get kicked out of business because the assets, the players, on monstrous wages. Unless you're going to get a saviour for someone to actually buy those players off of you and replace them with people who will actually take smaller wages to make your club more sustainable in its payments over prolonged periods of time, then that's case study to survival. But with the way in which our players, some of the highest earners that don't deserve their wages, don't have ambition in football. They're comfortable where they are. They're given leeway by the boards, by the owners. They like that. That's their working relationship. Is the guy that's in between. It's the term where you say that you should be the dog wagging the tail, but the tail wags the dog. What should be the lowest card in the deck is acting as though it's the top card, and it's not being punished for it. So with the way in which the situation is, and I've got to look at the fan base here as well and say, you fucking idiots.
100%.
Because as rival fans, 3 rival fans have looked at this and said, well, it's got to be players being a big problem. But those guys upstairs, they are the biggest enablers to all of this. So why is the attention not on them? Instead, we get people who say, oh, it's got to be, Glazer's out. What's that? The manager's doing bad. Manager's out, manager out. But why are you focusing on something that whenever you change it, and you've changed it 5 times on a permanent basis in the last 10 years, every time it's not worked? But you've had, and this is the thing, if you're hiring similar style managers, you could say if it comes to the same problems, that might just be that type of manager. We've hired 6 completely unique managers with different styles and different levels of success. All of them have failed the same way. The same way. 0 difference between each failure. And that comes back to the same crop of players plus 1 or 2 additions in the first team picture that are present and starting games when that manager gets sacked. So fans...
You've dipped out of the Champions League now, and you haven't even qualified for the Europa League. There's no money. There's no money coming in there, as we know. And then the problems you've got on the pitch, what you're producing. I mean, you're 7th at the minute, but where are you going to finish at the end of this season? If I'll tell you something now. If you're in a hole now, if you don't finish in that top 4 now, next season, let's say if you finish 7th where you are now in the league. If you finish there, how much money are you going to have to spend next season to improve your squad, your team? I mean, you've got dead wood, we've got a little bit of dead wood at our club. I suppose we all have at our clubs. You're not going to shift your dead.
Same as Deadwood.
Well, they're going to West Ham, CW7. But what I'm saying is with that one, you're going to keep your Deadwood there. And we're going to see more of your Deadwood playing next season. instead of buying in. Because if you want money, next season. I think you'll have to sell some of your top players. I'm not saying all your top players, but I can say at least 2 or 3 going for you to bring the money in, so you can change the the system of play. And that is even if Ten Hag is still your manager at that time next season as well.
And this is the funny thing about this as well, is that I think we're looking at it right now, and I see a lot of fans very quick to say, what's this fraud Ten Hag doing? He's trying to sell all of our best players. Is it the manager or is it the club? Because now it's coming out to say we're selling them for financial reasons. Why would Ten Hag care about the club finances? That's for the club to deal with. That's their concern. That's their problem. So
Can I just say one thing as well? At the end of the day, right, is one thing I don't think people are taking into account. They might actually sell up at one point, but FIFA's going to be on you at one point because there's definitely dodgy business gone on there. And I think if you want my honest opinion, I think the Glazers are smart. They've got the right people in the right places, and it's probably stopping that kind of thing happening at the minute. But as soon as somebody else takes over that club, FIFA's going to be onto that and see all the dodgy dealings that's gone on. So, mate, honestly, things could get even worse.
Well, that's the thing. It could get even worse, but that's just it. Because if it does get worse, then again, for all the stuff that us United fans have watched the Glazers in the ways and they've destroyed the club, and then we see that come afterwards, it's like, well, they've continued to destroy this club after they've left. They're not even owning the club, and they're still killing it.
Exactly.
Like, that's how bad their ownership would be, and I think that would cement them as the worst owners of a football club in history
100%,
of global
100%,
football.
100%.
Because no one really would be able to destroy a club of Manchester United size after the fact that they've left ownership, and that's the thing, is perhaps the governing bodies look at this situation and they're not going to care, because to them, as long as they make tons of money and that they're the most profitable league and profitable organization in the world, they don't care. They'll happily kick Man United to the curb. They'll happily see
they're
that club.
Smart businessmen. They will have lawyers in place that's going, oh, you can't look into that, or you can't do this, and we've got contractual reasons you can't look into this at the moment, and things like that. And to be honest, I put 100% blame on the fans, to be quite honest with you, because when they was going to take over and when they was going to buy this place, a section of your fans weren't having it, and you divided. As fan base, you divided, and some was like, no, this is a good thing, and some was like, no, this is a bad thing. If you all stuck together at that point, maybe they would have never took over anyway. But all you've got to do is stop going. Just stop going. Stop putting bums on seats. Stop going. I mean, even get on the pitch, beat everybody up. You know what I mean? Just keep doing that. Every game, just run on the pitch and beat everybody up every game.
So it's a 75,000 entrant Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, is whilst we can sit here and constantly say, players and board and owners and all of that, and say, oh, it's all of their fault. It would be ignorant of me to not sit here and say the fans have got to take probably one of the biggest responsibilities in the long term for these issues, because even to this day we're still not getting it right, and I get it from other people in my chat as well, from saying, look, this Ten Hag guy, he's not right, he's not the right man, I don't care. And this is why I keep saying, I'm not Ten Hag in, I'm not Ten Hag out, I'm Ten Hag don't care, because it's not going to change with the manager. The buck doesn't stop there. The problems go much, much deeper. So I challenge everybody that is Ten Hag out, on that basis, go get your choice of manager in. If you have one, let's see if you have a bit of foresight, and let's see what your plan is. What is your master plan of changing one person that's going to fix all of the problems that have existed for longer than a decade? And
who's out there to do it? Who's out there to do the job?
Mm.
I said, if the job is too hard for Pep, in all fairness, hot fuzz, who's out there as a manager that can do that job? If I don't think Pep would do it or could do it,
No,
that's
well,
what
the
I
job, well, that's just it. The job
No.
is getting harder and harder and harder because there's
Yeah.
more failed projects to work with.
There's shackles on what you do in that job anyway. You're always going to be shackled. I mean, come on. Ten Hag didn't want Wout Weghorst, for God's sake. You know, he was given a certain amount of players that was a certain sort of price or whatever like that. And he said, Ten Hag probably said, I want this person, Osherman or whatever. And they just turned around and went, no, you're not having Osherman. These are the people that you can have and stuff like that. I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I mean, the way things are going at United at the moment is just shocking. And I don't know if anybody's noticed this. You know, I mean, I'm not having to go at American owners, more businessmen. One thing they're doing when they take over the clubs is they're dividing fan bases. Kroenke did it. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
what's his name's doing it as well. That is their first task. They divide the fan base all together, and that's
Yeah.
how they stay in there.
The Cronkies. I mean, the Cronkies have done it. The Glaziers have done it. I think. I think Aston Villa were owned. Are they still owned by American base? They were at one time.
So, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
So
So
Aston Villa are So I think you're not. Are you yet? Are you? You're owned by? Are you owned by American?
no, he's a Russian mafia. He basically
He had the
he
West
puts
Ham. He had
horses'
the
heads on your
English.
bed
He
if
had
you don't
the.
perform.
I'm pretty sure he had the English bloke. I can't remember what his name is, but older English bloke. Can't remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you were saying about with these American ownerships. You know, they are a bit you know, they're I don't know where they get their I know well they get their brains from and that, but they all like I mean they do so many stupid things, the Americans, and sometimes they get away with it and sometimes they don't. But I think at the minute, I think that the only ones that's really struggling is yourselves, is Man United, like Mama Fossey. But yeah, that's that they're the ones that's struggling at the minute. That's American based thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
And
know what?
they divide the fan base.
You know what? That's why I'm sort of half pitying Chelsea at the moment, because an American owner's come in and he's gone quite gun ho with his approach and the way he's tried to explode onto the scene. Perhaps his actions are to just try and win Chelsea fans over. Unfortunately for him, doing it that way is sort of painted him as the villain very, very quickly. But now we're seeing a lot of this young projects with the players from unknown locations coming in. Let's get them up to a certain price point and valuation, and then we'll cash in on them. So are Chelsea going to just become a selling club now?
Well, the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, all fans was crying out for billionaire owners, and if I'm not wrong, the Glazers was the first signature on that ESL.
They're one of the co-founders.
Exactly. You can see exactly what they was intending to do, and to be quite honest, what they've done with Man United should be criminal. It should be a prison offence. Because to turn a club like that into what they've turned it into is absolutely shocking. It's shocking.
Well, what they're trying to do to football, and that's the thing. If it was their ideas along with a couple of other people, everything went their way, that's Yeti. That's your club affected. That's your club affected. Early doors. That's. I mean, Anthony's club was one of those that was going to be signed up to it as well.
They tried to take the football away from the fans.
Yeah.
So that paints. So that's the funny thing, is that paints them as the enemy to the fans of every club, especially in this country, because everyone who protested that day, is against Glazer participation in football ownership.
Yeah.
So everybody should technically have a voice in saying that those guys have got to get out of football ownership. Because who's to say that they don't come out of the woodworks with this big master plan that everyone signs on to, and screw the rest of the clubs. Screw the rest of them.
The problem you've got though there, Fuzz, is other clubs and other fans ain't going to stick by you because a lot of other fans and other clubs don't like you. Because not you personally, but Manchester United. Because
I'm sure there are plenty that don't like me either.
because, well, I hope not. But I mean, there's plenty. You know, Manchester United was the giant, and they still are. They still are the giant, even though what's happening now. But and there's a lot of clubs that don't like it. Don't like Man United, so they ain't gonna jump. They're not gonna be clever enough to think, "Oh, wait a minute, their owner tried to take football away from us, so let's all hate the owner." They're gonna be like, "Oh, look at Man United! Hey, let's have a laugh at Man United. The shit." Do you know what I mean? That's all they're gonna do.
Yeah, but we'll change the subject a little bit now to sort of get to wrapping up the show. Just a quick roundup with, of course, January around the corner. With obviously everyone's got their plans, everyone's got work that they need to do with these squads, players they've got to sell, players they've got to buy. We'll go around each of your clubs as to like who do you think you should sell and who do you think you should buy to get an improvement to your teams, because I know we had discussions about, you know, you've already dropped a couple of names as who you'd sell, who you'd buy, but just as your whole January transfer plans, there's a couple of names coming in, a couple of names going out. Who's improving your team, would you say? And what positions would you say improves your team? We'll start with Yeti on this one.
Well, I mean, when it comes to buying, selling, I mean, I don't have anybody that I would sell. I think we've got a really good unit going there. We've just got to find how it works right. What I would say about buying is we've got to start getting the midfield right so that when we go up 2-0 at Old Trafford, we can hold the win. And, you know, we can hold a win wherever we go, because if you can't hold a win, you ain't getting nowhere. As for striker, I mean, Chris Woods is useless, so I mean, I'd get rid of him. Not that, you know, I mean, it's going to be a flea market thing or a car boot sale, because I don't think anybody else will get rid of him any other way. But and then we need Wout Weghorst up front. That's what we need.
I can picture it now. Chris Wood scored in a West Ham shirt. He runs to the fans and goes, shoo!
Big up Tony Claude, Gunner TV in the house. How we doing, mate? Hope everything's good with you.
Big up Tony Claude, mate.
Big up, Tony.
So we've heard from Yeti about what his plans would be for Nottingham Forest in January. Anthony, you're obviously in the title race. I've spoken to Abs about this. Who like what plans would they want to do in terms of bridging the gap to getting over the line to winning titles? I'm sure you've probably got that thought in the back of your mind as well. Well, aside from that, if there's player personnel, anybody you're or any positions you're looking to strengthen specifically?
I think there's one position we should strengthen, and I touched on it earlier. Is regarding Saka. We've really got no one to replace him. You know, it looks like he's going to be burnt out. If we don't get anybody in, he's literally. I've got to be honest with you. For a young guy that age, he's literally carrying Arsenal Football Club on his shoulders. There's no ifs or buts about it. You know, so we need to bring in a new player so we can rotate with him. Give him a little time off, bring him off his sub. And it's like what I said, just enjoy. And also, if he is out injured, we've got a good backup there. A guy who I'm thinking of is Pedro Neto from Wolves, and he's going to cost in the region of £50 million, I believe. But obviously, we've got the money there to get him. So that's the only one I can think of. There is others like a centre back, a midfielder, and a striker. But this is Arsenal Football Club. I can't see him getting a striker. I mean, he's gonna be happy with
a striker.
A striker. Yeah, I would like a striker at Arsenal Football Club.
Why do you need a striker?
Is
it to score goals? Because apparently strikers aren't there to score goals anymore, are they?
Oh, I know. Yes, I was
According
talking.
to your Chelsea fan,
Oh, yeah.
strikers aren't meant to score goals. No.
He's off now. He's got time off. He's got time off
He needs
the
time off.
from the show. I literally told him he had to take time off. I said because he's not there. He told me that striker's job was not to score goals, and also the other week before that, he told me is a defender's job not to defend. I said, "No, I'm not having it. Go away, go away." So that was that. But yeah, I think we need
a.
I
It's
think
not
we
the
need
goalkeeper's
clueless.
job. It's not the
Wacky.
goalkeeper's job to use his hands to stop shots.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Goalkeeper should be scoring. What's he playing at?
Yeah.
Why is Ten Hag not running on the pitch for United and scoring bicycle
I
kicks?
tell you what,
What's that about?
I tell you what, if I get a goalkeeper that don't win the Golden Boot, then I'm selling him. He's out.
Exactly.
Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Ramsey in Ramsdale in number 1. Ramsdale in where 8.
Go on to early doors. West Ham. Your squad's in a good position as it is. Is there anybody else? I mean, you've mentioned already a striker. Any particular names you'd like to see West Ham go out and get?
Well,
Eddie Nketiah.
Victor Osimhen.
He needs goals.
We do need goals. There's no two ways about it. I mean, obviously, let's say like players we want to get rid of. I think Mikel Antonio. Maybe he'll push to get out. Except from that point onwards, definitely got to offload Danny Ings. I mean, that's just not whatever at all. And I hope we give Divan Mabamba more of a chance because he's the up and coming striker for us as a club as an apprentice. I think he needs to be given more of a chance. I mean, also there's talks about Tilo Kehrer going to be going, which wouldn't be a bad thing. He's been okay, but he's also very much reliability. And I think even the old man Ogbono, he needs to move on as well now. I think he's done his time. But I don't know. The Steadtine, he's good at getting players from abroad. So at the moment, I'm not too sure who I'd like to get in. Definitely not in Nketiah. I don't care if any Arsenal fans drive him to the club. There's no two ways about it. But I'll tell you one player I'd like to get older than that is the ex-Turkish chairman and that from that club who smacked out the referee and that. I'll have him in there.
You get the Premier League cancelled. Just suspend the whole Premier League with that.
It'd be the best signing ever.
Typical West Ham fan.
I'll smash the granny out of that referee, I swear.
It goes with our crosses, he's got hammer blow.
Well, I mean, you can hit him with your bubbles, I suppose.
That laugh from Yeti after Tony uttered Nketiah. But anyways, guys, that concludes the show for today. A big shout out to everybody that has tuned in. Thank you very much to everybody that has stopped by and chatted in the comments section. Mama Flossie, Wolfgang Division, Jaminho, Stephanie Griffiths, and Tony Claw Gunner. Fantastic people, all the regulars. Always a pleasure to see them in the chat, but also an even bigger pleasure to have them join me on the screen. So thank you very much to Yeti, Early Doors, and Anthony for joining me on the stream. I've added the links to all of the channels in the stream description, so you can click on those names there, and it takes you straight over to all of their home pages. So make sure that you do go show them some love and support and subscribe to their channels and all of that good stuff. We'll go around. Yeti, anything on your channel coming up soon? Any plans?
Well, I'll have the watch along for the Bournemouth game, which it's got to be a win. I've got a lot of plans for next year. Next year, I'm going to be massive. I don't mean massive as in subs and stuff. I mean, I'm going to be massive busy with what I'm doing with my channel. I've got loads of ideas keep coming up of what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a Mama Flossie. I'm going to change view from the cave where I have like all you guys on, and I'm asking you about yourself so you can sort of talk about yourself and stuff like that. And basically, I'm having going to be starting another one where basically I do the weekend football. You know, that's going to change from view from the cave. That's going to be about people that I have on instead. Me and Mother Flossie are going to talk about serial killers because we're both into that kind of thing, and we both might be one at some point. You never know. But you know, if there's too many Pratt Chelsea fans that talk absolute shit or BX Gunners, then you know there might be serial killers going on. But you know, other than that, it's you know, it's just going to be general watch-alongs and gaming and all that kind of stuff, keeping it real. My channel, as long as Jetty's Cave, if you're real, then I want you in there. If you're not, then you won't last long. You'll soon be found out.
Lovely stuff. Anthony, the first time on the channel. Big ups to you for joining. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and hopefully first of many times in the near to distant future. And what have you got coming up on your channel?
Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing me on, Fuzz. It's, you know, first time on the show. I've enjoyed it, and yeah, I've got no problem. I'll come on again. Well, I've actually finished both of my channels for the, streaming this year. I'm on Football United TV. I do the Arsenal show, Gunners from All Corners, which we stream on Thursday nights at 9:00. Obviously, that one's finished for the year. Also, we have the Premier League weekend show, which I do on a Sunday. This man was on the last two shows, on the Arsenal one and obviously on the Premier League one, Early Doors. Good shows, by the way. Go and check them out. We're going to be coming back with a few more guests. You know, I got a few more guests in line and all that. I'm thinking of doing a show over the Christmas with me and my partner. This is called the I don't know if you can see him, the Christmas Yeti, we call him. And he's a Forest fan. He literally hates everybody, you know, but he wishes you a good Christmas. So that's well, yeah. So
oh man, he hadn't even swore yet. What's going on?
Yeah, it's quiet. He's very quiet.
Merry fucking Christmas.
Lovely stuff. And Early Doors Football TV. What have we got to expect on your channel in the near future? Plans?
Plenty to be going on with. I mean, obviously, as you know, I've been away for several months, so now getting back into things. I've uploaded a video today on the football team I kind of help out with, just reviewing half the season, what they've done so far.
Yeah.
And I've got more to come. There's more shows to come. Obviously, you wonderful people. We'll get you involved in the chat. People that we know in the community, try and get them on board as well. And obviously, trying to do a lot more for 2024. That should be good.
Lovely stuff. So, once again, thank you very much to everybody who's tuned in, watched the show, everybody that has liked the stream. If you're watching it on playback, please do hit them likes and all of that good stuff. Massively helps the channel out, as well as subscribing to these other three fine gentlemen on the screen as well. Links, as I've said, in the stream description. You can find all the hyperlinks to the channels right there. Easy click for the subscriptions there, and make sure, don't forget to hit the notification bells, because YouTube likes to go through all manners of fuckery in order to not tell you about what's going on people's channels. So whatever the hell YouTube decides to fancy doing. So that's it from us tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again on
chocolate milk out.
Fuck you.
Daddy.